The offseason files next. The LA Rams. The LA Rams were a team that won several games this year, ended up in the playoffs, and they were a team that we thought down the stretch could vie for a Super Bowl. It didn't end up panning out. They made the trade in the offseason to get Matt Stafford. They think that's their piece to being a Super Bowl team. Jared Goff is now off in Detroit. They have Matt Stafford. They have two defensive players that make $80 million a year combined. They are $35 million over the cap. They have 3 draft picks. 3! They only have 3 draft picks. They have a 2nd rounder, a 6th rounder, and a 7th rounder. What is their number one priority here? They've got free agents that they're going to lose, and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, they are over the cap. They're going to lose guys like John Johnson. John Johnson's going to be a very sought-after free agent. Mm-hmm. He's one of the top safeties on the market. The thing that might be that might give the Rams the ability to keep him is if you franchise him, the deals that get signed this year don't count against you. Marcus May is going to sign a huge deal with the Jets. Justin Simmons is going to get tremendous money. I could see a path that they're actually able to keep John Johnson. Mm-hmm. Where it gets into a problem for me is that then I look at Leonard Floyd and Gerald Everett, who's is a tremendous talent to me. Samson Ebukam, Darius Williams, who is one of the top corners on the market. Mm-hmm. Those are homegrown talents that your team has hit on in the draft because you've had guys like Brad Holmes, the new GM of the Detroit Lions, that have been killing the draft. That's the reason this constantly trading your first rounders thing hasn't killed them. Mm-hmm. Now, the question is, now that he's gone and you've lost some things in the front office, can you keep doing that? And the answer is I don't know. You know, what can you save? I'm afraid you're going to lose Andrew Whitworth. I'm afraid that we have come to the end of the road. He might come back for one more year.
Yeah, I think he's going to be back for one more year because he's still under contract, and he's 39 years old. Yes, he'll be 40 years old, but he's still, I mean, I would say he's one of the best left tackles in the league still. He's at the bottom of that tier at 39 years old. So why would you give it up when you know this is a team that, I mean, they've got a window here. We know the window. The window is 1 to 2 years to be able to make this work because you're not going to be able to keep all these guys around. So I can see Andrew Whitworth very well, going, yeah, this season hurt, but I think I can do it one more time.
And that's entirely possible. The thing with the Rams where I think people are maybe not seeing the forest for the trees, mm-hmm. They can save almost $60 million in restructuring deals. This is a team that has not kicked the can down the road. They have swallowed the frog, and now they got $34 million in dead cap hit from Todd Gurley and Jared Goff, and there's another one. I can't remember who the other guy is. Leonard Floyd. So you've got some dead cap. If you're going to restructure deals, this would be the year because you're going to have $34 million in dead cap space come off next year. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they're in as bad a shape as people think. They're going to be one of those teams that comes along and really hits the buyout market. Another thing that you have to think about, they could break the compensation structure this year.
What do you mean?
They have 62 players under contract right now. Let's say they lose John Johnson and Leonard Floyd, mm-hmm. and Gerald Everett and Darius Williams. That could end up fetching them 3 or 4 compensatory picks next year. So long as they stay off stay out of unrestricted free agency, which, I mean, they almost have to because they don't have that much money. As long as you stick to guys that are cut by other teams, you could wind up doing really well in compensatory picks, which obviously a comp 5th round pick doesn't make up for a first rounder.
Right.
But if you draft as well as this team does, you can still add depth pieces, still be tremendously competitive down the line. This is not I don't look at this team the same way I look at like Pittsburgh or New Orleans. The all-in, all or nothing, we've got 1 year, and then we're going to be hot dumpster juice in a year. I don't look at the Rams that way.
No.
They have young talent that's under contract for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I think so long as you do this the right way, and this is a really well-run organization, I think they could be in good shape for several years to come.
But what do they do at quarterback?
Matthew Stafford.
But for several more years?
Yeah.
You think
Stafford's
he's got 5 more years in it?
Your quarterback was 43 years old and won a Super Bowl. I understand there's injury issues with Matt Stafford that, Brady and Breeze and all these other guys haven't had.
Yeah, I don't know if he lasts that long. That's my problem.
But he's not going to last a year. This is not a one-year rental. This is several years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Most important thing is that you're going to have a deficiency on the edge because you're going to lose a Boogum. I don't see any way they can bring him back because he's going to get a deal on the open market that he's a talented guy and he's well thought of in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I hope for their sake Whitworth comes back because their line is it's doing stuff. It's doing stuff. And with Matt Stafford's a deep ball guy. My biggest qualm with Stafford to the Rams is that Stafford's a deep ball guy. That's hard to do when your line is an atrocity. And theirs is in large part. I don't mind Austin Blythe. I don't necessarily mind Austin Corbett. But if you lose Whitworth, then it could get ugly. Another team I could see taking flyers on guys like Jason Peters or older guys that are ring hunting. Mm-hmm. This could be a ring hunting team where you see a bunch of vets take very little money to come out here for a year.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they are one of I think they are the best team in their division right now.
I don't.
I do. I mean, I think San Francisco is going to be.
I think San Francisco and the Cardinals are interchangeable. I want to know what happens in the offseason.
Right. I think at this point they are the favorites in their division. And Cam Akers, watch out. Watch out for Cam Akers next year. If he can continue the path that he set in the last, 4 weeks of this season, this could be a special team.
Oh, I mean, it absolutely could be. Mm-hmm. The thing I will tell you to watch for in the draft with the Rams, Raheem Morris is the defensive coordinator. This is a different scheme than you saw under Brandon Staley, unless he's going to adapt, which is entirely possible. Mm-hmm. This is a guy that's coached offense and defense in the NFL, so he's obviously very adaptable. Watch the Rams. They have some tradable assets. I don't think they're only going to make 3 picks in this draft. I don't buy it. I could see some pieces moved. I struggle to believe that the high-end guys on this team are all going to be there. I really do. And when I look at the ability to trade anybody, you don't get killed if you trade Cooper Kupp. You don't get killed if you trade Robert Woods. And there are receivers in this draft. I'm not dead sold that those two are both on the roster week 1 of next year. That's how I should have said that.
Okay.
Because they really like Van Jefferson, and they should. He was a guy I really liked last year. Mm-hmm. And they're going to need more draft picks. So just don't be shocked if you haven't seen the last of them making deals.
Again, just 3 picks to deal with, $39 million over the cap. It's going to be an interesting offseason. I mean, hell, it's already been. The league year hadn't even started yet, and they've already traded their quarterback for Matt Stafford in a deal that apparently got done on the beaches of Cabo, which is
don't be shocked with. Touch. By the way, don't be shocked with Whitworth if they can convince him to come back. Mm-hmm. Don't be shocked if they rework that deal, a la what just got done with Ben Roethlisberger, where they extend it for a couple more years, put some voidable years on it, can extend the cap hit so he's not. I mean, I think he's $11-something million on the cap this year.
Right.
I won't be shocked if they do something like that.
Okay.
And then look for them in the draft to be that team that just when you see them on the clock, they keep taking that guy that's fallen too far.
Right.
Dylan Moses with the LA Rams makes so much sense it makes my brain hurt. It just does, because they have the ability to hide him. They have so much talent. And the fact that he doesn't cover well in space is not going to kill them. But he will help them against the run. And I think he can, in the right scheme, learn to. He didn't fit in the Saban scheme. I think with a coordinator like Raheem Morris, who's willing to adapt, I could see this being a really, really good team and a really good defense.
I think this year is going to be another great year for the Los Angeles Rams. The Matt Stafford deal, I think, makes them for sure a contender in the NFC, probably I don't know, top of my head, second best team, third best team.
So they're somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
The West to me,
NFC.
the West to me is not as settled as you think it is.
No, I don't think it's settled.
See, you do definitives before things have happened that I don't do.
Right.
Because you scoff and roll your eyes every time I say the Rams and Cardinals and 49ers to me they're all in the same ballpark. And if I believed in the Seahawks more, I would throw them out there. I don't. I don't believe in the defense, I don't believe in the line, and I don't think there's much you can do to fix it. But I could understand it if you did and you wanted to put them in that same area. But that's still, to me, 4 of the 7 best teams in the NFC. So this is going to be a fun division. I'm really curious to see how they add talent, but with this front office, I don't put anything over them. I mean, they've been playing this sleight of hand bullshit since they drafted Jared Goff. They will have gone 7 years without a first rounder if they don't trade another one by the time they pick one, but by the time they have one again. And yet you've still continue to be competitive. That's almost mind-boggling in the NFL.
Don't forget to like, share, and, of course, subscribe to the Sportsocracy as our off-season files will continue throughout the rest of the off-season. We'll be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880.